Good evening, everyone. Bienvenidos a todos. We are absolutely thrilled that you have joined us this beautiful evening for Centro Legal de la Raza's 2021 virtual gala, La Gala, Take a Chance on Justice. My name is Teresa Gonzalez, and I am the Executive Director of Centro Legal. Wow, what a year. Not just 2021, even though it's only been a few months, it has been a lot. It's very intense, but 2020 was so huge for our community. While we wish we could be celebrating in person this evening with you all, we want to thank each and every one of you for making the time to join us this evening. We thank you for supporting our work, and we thank you for those who continue to believe in our mission and to be representative and the voices for those in our community that we need to prioritize each and every day through our mission and vision in order to protect their rights and ensure access to justice for thousands of Californians every single year and also throughout the nation. Tonight, you'll hear from a diversity of leaders outside in the community, but also internally. And I just want to say thank you to our amazing team who has been at the front lines of our work throughout this entire time, but even pre-COVID, when we were still seeing a huge amount of gentrification, displacement, racism, and systemic injustice and violence. Despite the nightmare of a global pandemic, the rapidly worsening housing crisis, a deeply broken immigration system, workers' rights being stripped away, and many more unsaid and unimaginable horrors inflicted upon our communities, which has been exacerbated by the pandemic, we are still here, and we stand and remain steadfast in our mission and unwavering in our commitment to serve our community. We are also honored to have folks with us tonight to talk about how we can continue this partnership together and how we can continue to serve those who are most deserving and the reason why we stand here today. I would like to say thank you in advance to our guest speaker, our keynote speaker, Maria Hinojosa, who is a global powerhouse who has been on the front lines as well, speaking on behalf of those most impacted by injustices daily. Please make sure to stick around the entire evening. It's going to be a short but very important evening for us. So we welcome you, and please, celebrate with us our accomplishments and also pray with us as we move forward in this really intense time. And we will share more about opportunities to partner and to be a champion for justice as we continue this imperative work on behalf of our community. Also, make sure to stick around and dance with us towards the end with DJ Malavida, which is an Oakland queer native group here in the town, our very own. Thank you so very much. Again, you all, we really appreciate you being here and look forward to giving you hugs in person once we see you again soon. Be well.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Centro Legal de la Raza's Immigrants' Rights Team. My name is Maciel Jaques, and today we want to explain to you a little bit about the type of work that we do. Aideen, Centro helps the community in so many different ways. Can you explain to us what those ways are?
Yeah, so all the people that you see here are part of Centro Legal's Immigrants' Rights Program. And Centro has been providing services to the immigrant community since we were founded, which has now been over 50 years. And our immigration practice, like all of our other practice areas, focuses on providing services to low-income and indigent community members. And originally, when our practice started, we were serving the community locally in the Fruitvale district in Oakland. But over the years, our practice has really expanded to serve immigrants all across Northern California, and we have served thousands of immigrants to date. Our representation is on a variety of immigration matters. We represent people in DACA, petitions for family members. We represent people in applying for visas if they've been the victims of serious crimes, as well as naturalization or citizenship. But the heart of what we do and what we specialize in our immigration practice is removal defense. And that means that we represent people who are at imminent risk of being removed from the United States. That is people who are fighting their case in immigration court before an immigration judge. And the reason we've decided to prioritize that is because our team is deeply committed to ensuring that people who are at risk of being separated from communities, from their families, have quality legal representation in order to ensure that they're able to have a better chance of remaining in the United States. So our immigration practice also includes a large project that focuses on representing asylum seekers. And that means that we represent people who have fled persecution in their home countries. And within that project, we represent adults as well as children and entire family units. We also have a really dedicated and passionate team of people who works fighting for the liberation of immigrants who are being forced to fight their case while being held in custody by immigration authorities. And all of the services I described are provided to the community entirely free of charge. So one of our team members who works with immigrants in detention is Mario. And Mario, can you tell us a little bit more about how it is that we gather data about who is being detained, what happens to people while they're in detention, and why it's important for us to have access to that information?
Thank you, Aideen. So Centro Legal de la Raza works at one of the biggest detention facilities in the region, which is Mesa Verde in Bakersfield, and has the capacity to house 400 community members. So in the beginning of last year, we started going twice a month in anticipation of its closure under AB 132. But unfortunately, I circumvented the law and the facility stayed open. We built relationships with organizers, local community organizations, activists, but more importantly, detained community members. And it was important for us to do that to figure out what was happening inside because we knew that ICE and the government was not going to give us that information. We started collecting information about the detained community members, different data points, and that really helped us prepare for the unexpected, which was COVID-19 and the pandemic. And it was important for us to have that information because we figure out that ICE lies and does not care about our community. And they were very negligent in their handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. We figured out that through their negligence, they brought COVID into the facility from other facilities, county jails and prisons. And something that we were really focused on is taking guidance from detained community members and building leaders from the inside who organize hunger strikes and work stoppages. And we were very intentional about taking guidance from them on our advocacy. And one of my colleagues, Stacy, actually worked directly with them on these issues. So Daisy, can you tell me what it's like advocating for immigrant rights at the moment? And what have you learned from the people you're organizing with, both clients and partners?
Yes, thank you, Mario, for touching on that very important work that has been happening in the last year with detained community members. Today, advocacy really means listening to what the community needs and taking direction directly from directly impacted folks. At the end of the day, we know the world that we want our communities to be in, and that is a community without cages, and that is a world without cages. This is one of the visions. Like you said, detained community members in the past year have showed so much resilience, and they've showed the resilience that runs through our community. At Mesa Verde, the 10 community members planned 4 hunger strikes, sit-ins, work stoppages, and we have helped elevate with them those efforts and to let the world know, what's going inside of these facilities, and let the world know that we are fighting at all levels with them for a world without cages. And it has been an extreme privilege to be able to work with them, alongside them, and take direction from them for the work that's needed. And to fight for a world where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. And on the note on listening to what our community needs and plugging in where resources should be allocated, we want to hear from Abby. And Abby, can you tell us a little bit about your work in local school districts to help unaccompanied youth?
Definitely, Daisy, and thank you so much to you and Mario for highlighting that incredibly important work. The prior administration's atrocities, including everything you just highlighted, separating asylum-seeking families, they've really made us forget, that even before this administration, our immigration system was broken and frankly punitive towards the most vulnerable immigrants seeking protection in the United States, and that includes unaccompanied minors. Centro Legal has forged incredible partnerships with the Oakland and Hayward school districts. We've set up school-based clinics to provide legal consultations as well as full scope removal defense representation, and to families and youth in these districts. So children as young as 8 and 10 are making a truly heart-wrenching decision to leave their families because they have concluded that the dangerous trek through Mexico to the US border is actually safer than remaining in their home countries. And a lot of the danger and instability that these kids are fleeing is directly linked to US foreign policy and immigration policy, primarily affecting Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. So, large swaths of these countries are not in government control, and it's really youth that become a primary target for organized crime. Centro Legal is one of the leading organizations, not just locally, but nationally, providing removal defense representation to unaccompanied minors. Just in Oakland, which has a population of less than 500,000, the school district enrolls about 20 new unaccompanied youth every single month. So it's truly inspiring to see what the school districts we work with, their refugee and newcomer programs, are doing to support these youth. We have clients who had a 3rd grade education in their home countries. We have clients who are monolingual Indigenous language speakers, and these kids are graduating from high school. It's truly inspiring. And when we can work with these districts to, partner with them and help these youth attain lawful status in the United States, it's a tremendous accomplishment. So I really look forward to continuing this work in the years to come. And I would now, back to Maciel, ask you what you see as the future of Centro Legal's work.
Thank you so much, Abby, for sharing all of the great work that we do with the youth in Oakland and, across the East Bay, and how we're leaders in the nation with the removal defense work that we do. One thing that we haven't talked about is the fact that Centro also has a really large education and outreach program where we're out in the communities partnering with several local East Bay, Bay Area organizations so that we can empower people with knowledge, especially in the fight against ICE, because just because we have a new presidency doesn't mean that ICE is going away. And what people can expect from us in the future is what they've seen from us in the past, which is we will continue to fight unjust immigration laws. We will continue to empower the community so that they can advocate for themselves. We want to create a world where rights aren't determined by where you were born. And we will just continue to always encourage and empower everyone. And we also want to be at the forefront with developing the next generation of deportation defense attorneys. So please, if you're able to contribute anything, please just click on the information below. Everyone here at Centro thanks you, because we're not in this alone. We can all do this together. And thank you so much for watching our video. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nurali. I'm here with Angel and Lalo, and we are part of Centro Legal's Tenants Rights team, and we're excited to share with you all about our work. Our Tenants Rights team represents individuals in eviction cases and rent board hearings, and we also advise community members on their rights, and we advocate for policy change. A thing that makes Centro Legal's Tenants Rights team unique is our community-centered approach. We're not only focused on achieving positive outcomes for each individual we represent, we're also seeking positive outcomes for the community as a whole. We do this through pre-eviction support that is meant to help tenants know and assert their rights before they even get an eviction notice. We offer this support through one-on-one clinics with folks on the phone or in the community. We also hold Know Your Rights workshops. We connect tenants with organizers and tenant unions, and we also offer rental assistance. All of these efforts are geared towards building power and keeping the communities as a whole in their homes. Another unique part of the Tenants Rights team is our team. We're a compassionate team that is committed to supporting each other. We collaborate with each other often, in acknowledgement that each of us have our own strengths. We also support each other in taking care of ourselves, especially during the pandemic. This commitment to each other allows us to build a more sustainable practice and serve our community members. I want to kick it to Lalo just to hear more about what he thinks has changed in the housing crisis in the last year in light of COVID-19.
Thanks, Nurali. That's a great question. Many things have changed, but sadly, some things have not. Even before the pandemic, communities in the Bay Area were already experiencing mass displacement. Now the effects of COVID-19 are disproportionately affecting the same low-income families and communities of color who were being targeted before. Not only the virus itself, which is very deadly, but in terms of job loss, loss of different support networks such as childcare, and these same groups of people who are experiencing housing insecurity are now at even greater risk of losing their homes during this global crisis. And luckily, we have a local moratorium here, most evictions from going forward at this time, and we also have rental assistance available for tenants to help pay their back rent. But many tenants are sadly unaware of these relatively strong protections and resources, so they're still being pushed out of their homes. And even if they're not pushed out of their homes, there's also been a significant increase in illegal landlord behavior, such as lockouts, when landlords illegally change the locks on the units of tenants to get them to move out, different forms of harassment, landlords refusing to make very necessary and basic repairs, and also just simply pressuring tenants to move out. And having mentioned the emergency financial assistance that we have been pushing out these last few months, I wanted to kick it to Angel and ask, how did that decision come about and what was the result?
Thank you, Lalo. Over the last few years, we've seen how powerful and beneficial the combination of legal services and financial assistance can be. When COVID hit, we saw how our clients were increasingly anxious as they were unable to pay their rent. We saw that some were borrowing from payday lenders, skimping on food or medicine, and foregoing other important needs in order to stabilize their housing by paying the rent. And while the moratorium prevented evictions, not everyone who needed the protections knew about it, and landlords still ramped up the pressure on their tenants. We were asked by some of our existing funders to help distribute rental assistance when the federal government provided funding. These programs have significant constraints and are not as powerful as canceling rent, for example. But we saw this as an opportunity to show how these programs can be best utilized to benefit tenants and how to distribute these funds equitably to the people who need them the most and typically have the most trouble accessing them. and also to help us continue to lift up the model of needing to address tenants' housing stability through advocacy and empowerment, not just payments to landlords. Advocacy is instrumental to this work. Lalo, could you talk about why that is and how we've advocated for the needs of our clients?
Absolutely, Angel. Advocacy is extremely important because it gives voice to the concerns of our clients and the community that we're dedicated to serving. It's because of our advocacy efforts that Alameda County is fortunate enough to have one of the strongest eviction moratoriums in the state, if not the country, and this protects tenants from evictions during the pandemic. We began advocating for this moratorium after talking to many tenants through our clinics. We then began upholding the stories of struggle of our clients to various stakeholders, including the Board of Supervisors. Ultimately, Alameda County passed an eviction moratorium, and now most tenants throughout the county of Alameda are protected from eviction for most reasons, including non-payment of rent. But the most important aspect of this is the precedent that it sets, because we have shown during this emergency period that we can fully stop evictions without the collapse of the housing market, without the economic and social catastrophe that landlord groups have falsely predicted for so long. Now we all know, and tenants in Alameda know, that the level of evictions that was happening was unnecessary, and that the evictions themselves were the housing collapse and the social catastrophe. And now we can stop evictions again in the future. And this is really exciting because as we move forward, that is something that we can all fight for to really stop displacement in Alameda, but also set the stage for a larger fight throughout the state and the country. And this started with the advocacy that Centro Legal pushed here in local cities and in the county of Alameda.
Thanks, Lalo, and thanks, Angel. We'd like to thank our team and community members for their support, and we look forward to fighting alongside all of you to secure the right to housing for all people. Thanks and goodbye.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Workers' Rights Program. Derek, can you please let us know a little bit about what the Workers' Rights Program does at Centro Legal?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Angela. It's really nice to take a little moment here to reflect some on our work over this past year. In Centro Legal's workers' rights practice, we provide direct legal services, outreach and education, and policy advocacy to advance and defend the rights of low-wage and immigrant workers. We really see our role as being community lawyers. And in that role, we're both zealously advocating for individual clients, and we're working in close partnership with workers and organizers to build worker power at a collective level. In sharing our legal expertise with the broader community, we're trying to make sure to amplify our impact and get the tools, those legal tools to address workplace violations into the hands of workers and advocates. This past year, the pandemic has really driven home the critical importance of the work that we do in this practice. And we've had clients approaching us facing unprecedented challenges related to workplace health and safety issues, unemployment insurance and how to access those benefits since so many workers have been losing their jobs, and also accessing sick leave so that folks aren't endangering themselves, family members, or coworkers when they need to take sick leave. In the next few minutes, we're going to be sharing with you some of the projects and victories that we're most excited about. Angela, I'm going to turn it right back to you, and we'd love to hear a little bit about your project.
Yes, of course. Thank you. So my project as a Skadden Fellow has been to expand the Workers' Rights Program into the Northern Sacramento Valley, which loosely encompasses the counties of Yuba, Butte, Colusa, Sutter, and Tehama. With this project, I have made great partnerships with community organizations in that area to finally spread the word that there's finally illegal services in the area to help undocumented workers.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, I was able to host clinics in person at community rooms at farm worker housing complexes in Chico and Yuba City. And I was also hosting in-person clinics in the Gridley Library, which is in Butte County. With these clinics, I was able and am able to help clients in issues related to their work, including wage theft, discrimination, retaliation, and health and safety issues. And one of the biggest aims of this project is to take the legal services to where the workers are, rather than them having to drive so many miles in such remote areas just to access legal services. With COVID, I've had to shift the way that I am providing these services to the immigrant workers and low-wage workers in the area. One of the ways is by doing virtual clinics, which we have done throughout the Workers' Rights Program, but another way was to set up a hotline where the workers can just easily call me and we can assess their situation, give some quick counsel advice, or if it need be, continue with representation in their employment cases. In addition, in the spring of 2020, I was able to partner with the Center for Workers' Rights, where I was able to supervise a hotline where we were able to reach hundreds of workers, issues relating to unemployment, health and safety, everything COVID related, since COVID made such a huge impact on workers all around the world. And today I continue to provide community education, legal representation, and just advice and counsel to workers in this region. Evelyn, can you please tell us about our fund?
Definitely. I would like to chat with you all a little bit about what the R Fund is. So as the COVID-19 pandemic began to impact the Bay Area and the first shelter-in-place orders were announced, Centro Legal immediately realized that undocumented workers would be among the hardest hit amid the financial fallout of the pandemic, unfortunately. With support from several of our community partners, we were able to launch the Oakland Undocumented Relief Fund, known as the Our Fund, just 10 days after the shelter-in-place order began in California. It was really amazing to see. The Our Fund provides mini grants, $500 to Oakland workers who have lost their jobs as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and are excluded from social safety net programs like unemployment because of their immigration status, very, very sadly. Every week, the Our Fund team, we speak with hundreds of recipients, and we hear so many stories of resilience during these very, very difficult times. We speak to hundreds of mothers who are unsure where their next plate of food will come for their children. We speak to hundreds of fathers who are unsure if they'll be able to find employment, waiting at La Parada, hoping to be picked up for work. For many of the recipients that we've spoken to, this relief has been one of the only resources available to sustain their family's livelihood throughout this very difficult pandemic. We are so deeply grateful for the thousands of donors, our partner organizations, and our volunteers who have demonstrated their steadfast support for immigrant workers in Oakland, and who without this work would not have been possible. And we're definitely very grateful to the Workers' Rights team for all the amazing work that they've done. And we'd like to share that up to this moment, the Our Fund has distributed over $2.5 million to the community in Oakland. Woo, so excited to be able to share that information. And without further ado, Anna, can you tell us a little bit about some of the work that you have done?
Yeah, I'd love to. I wanted to share a story of one of my clients, Gabrielle, who was a young woman working in a male-dominated field. She was passionate about her work as an auto body technician, and while she was working, she was attending school to sharpen her skills and grow her career. Unfortunately, she noticed that her employer was not paying her correctly. They failed to provide breaks, overtime pay, business expense reimbursements, paid sick leave, and on top of it all, she was the only woman working there, and she was flooded with discriminatory comments because of her national origin and sexual orientation. Gabrielle complained to her supervisor about the discrimination that she was experiencing, and instead of supporting her, her employer retaliated against her by moving her to a different location and lowering her pay. Unsurprisingly, her employment ultimately came to an end, and all of this prompted Gabrielle to reach out to us, and our team quickly got to work. It was a complicated case, and we collaborated to navigate a complex wage and hour calculation, but thankfully, we successfully resolved her case, and Gabrielle was able to use the settlement funds to open her own business. And we have our client, Gabrielle, here to share a few thoughts about her experience.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Gabriela. Yo estoy aquí para hablar un poco sobre mi caso. La demanda que yo tuve fue sobre discriminación y falta de pago. La verdad me sorprendió porque fue muy rápido y el acuerdo que hizo la abogada con los otros abogados fue un beneficio para mí. Yo tenía miedo en hacer la demanda porque pensé que iba a durar mucho, incluso que iba a ser un poco desgastante. Y pero pues todo fue perfecto gracias a la abogada Ana que estuvo conmigo y hizo este caso más sencillo y más rápido. Con el dinero que yo gané en la demanda, yo y mi amigo montamos un negocio, que es lo mismo que hacía yo en mi antiguo trabajo. Y ahora pues gracias a Dios nos está yendo bien. Y pues ya con mejor oportunidades. Gracias.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is the intake team. My name is Nancy. This is Delay, and this is Jacob. And today we're going to tell you about what our work as the intake team entails. And Jake is going to start us off with telling us what the intake team does.
Cool. Thanks, Nancy. So the intake team is the first person that someone sees when they go into the office, or first person someone speaks to on the phone. We listen to the client situation, whether it be for immigration, housing, employment, family law, etc., and then assess what type of services they need. And based on that, we'll either schedule an appointment or refer out to another organization in the area or county, depending on where they're calling from. Sometimes there'll be emergency situations like notices to vacate, lockouts, utility issues like no running fridge or no heat. In those cases, we'll reach out to an attorney directly to have someone call them back as soon as possible. Yeah. So, Nancy, what's a typical day for you, like in pre and post COVID?
Well, pre-COVID, we would go into the office, check the lobby, check anything that needs to get set up or prepared for the day. And then at 9 a.m., we open the doors and we turn on our phones and we start seeing folks and answering calls as they come in. As you mentioned, we're providing information, we're signing folks up for clinics, we're providing referrals, really on anything that folks ask as far as we can provide. I've even had someone say to me, oh, thank you for explaining how small claims work, because I've been calling around all day and no one bothered to tell me this, and it was really simple for her. We're checking our mail, we're checking our info emails we're receiving, our faxes, and then we close for lunch around 12. We close for lunch at 12, then we open up at 1, and we continue like that, and we're checking our voicemail when we have a chance to, and we carry on until 5 p.m. At that which point we close everything up, we turn off our phones, and tidy up anything if it needs it. Honestly, the only thing that's changed during COVID is that now we just don't check the office, but we're doing all the same things from home. Then it's a job with ups and downs, right? So, Delay, what has been one of the greatest challenges for you during COVID as an intake specialist?
Yes, good question, Nancy. Yes, of course. This has been an unprecedented for everyone, and the greatest challenge for me during pandemic has been to answer a lot of calls that we have received every day, and of course, between others, like answer emails and provide the accurate information as we can, because everyone needs to be informed and need a lot of information about many things. But I remember like one of the most was to answer a call. It came from a mom, and she was crying over the phone, and she was requesting help for her baby. Mainly, she didn't have any diaper or food for her baby. And of course, it broke my heart, because I am a mom of a 3-year girl too. So the first thing I thought, and I told her, you know what, I have a baby, I can help you with some diapers and some food. Immediately, I sent an email to all the staff, and yes, I got a fast response from all the staff and other community and other organizations. organizations who help her with more diapers, food, and more things that she needed. And yes, it was very hard to hear someone crying over the phone because she need a lot of things for her baby, and it was hard for me. I almost cried with her because, you know, as a mom, you know how difficult it is for a mom to keep her baby safe and to provide everything that a baby needs. And yes, definitely, it was the most difficult call for me during pandemic. And that is something that I really appreciate, and that is one of my favorite things for my job, to help people who really needs help. And talking about favorite things, Jake, what's your favorite thing to do, like intake especially?
Oh, thanks, Delay. My favorite thing about this work would probably be working with the community. Being a Bay Area native and an Oakland resident, you know, it's good to help out your neighbors in whatever way you can, especially if someone is asking for help, and even more so during these trying times. You know, mental health is a big issue, and a lot of people are suffering. So sometimes, you know, the person calling might not really need anything, but just needed someone to listen. You know, even something as simple as listening goes a long way. So, you know, that's why I enjoy this. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. And thank you everyone for joining us today. That was our team.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey everyone, we're here with the Youth Law Academy team here today. My name is Richard. I'm the program coordinator with Youth Law Academy. I'm joined by Raimundo, the director of Youth Law Academy, Cecilia, one of our former students, and Maria Sager, who's an attorney mentor and former member of the Centro Legal board. So Raimundo, would you mind telling us a little bit more about what the Youth Law Academy is and why it's so important?
Yes, thank you, Richard. So as we are all painfully aware, the legal profession really needs help in improving its diversity and inclusion. We need to have a legal profession that reflects the community that it's serving. So in 2005, Centro Legal de la Raza took the step of forming a diversity pipeline initiative called the Youth Law Academy, and we seek out and recruit talented Oakland students into a rigorous 3-year program to provide them with academic and career support. We go on field trips to courthouses and law firms. We do classes on a mock trial and on ethnic studies in the law, and provide all of our students with college advising and guidance support when they're seniors in high school. And when they graduate high school and they go on to college, we even provide them with paid legal summer internships. So that's a little bit about the Youth Law Academy. And then in 2015, we actually expanded to provide even more support to college students, launching an initiative called the Diversity Legal Pipeline, which is a 1-week-long summer boot camp. And all of the students that go through the Youth Law Academy or the DLP that need it can get LSAT preparation support from us as well. So that's a little bit about the program. Richard, why is the Youth Law Academy important to you?
Well, the Youth Law Academy for me is so special because of our students. Right? Our students, they're bright, funny, vulnerable, passionate, and they bring every aspect of themselves, of their identities to our classes. Not only does that make that job fun for me on a personal level, but it also elevates the level of learning that happens in the program. As an example, every spring semester, our juniors go through a criminal justice unit where we discuss big topics in criminal justice, the school to prison pipeline, things of that nature. And even before the protests of last summer, we had an entire module dedicated to reimagining policing, reimagining public safety. Now, our students brought so much of their own lived experience, those conversations as young, Oakland people of color. And I was blown away by the advanced ideas they proposed about what our community could or should be doing when it comes to crime and punishment and reforming the penal system. So I'm thankful every day that our students just bring so much of their own unique perspective to the class, and it makes it worthwhile for me as well. Ceci, you yourself as someone who's gone through the program, can you talk maybe a bit about how the YLA made a difference in your life?
Yeah, so Youth Law Academy and Centro Legal in general has been a source of support throughout the past 6 years. When I joined YLA in my sophomore year in high school, I definitely was going out on a limb. I never would have seen myself wanting to have a career in law. But I definitely feel as though those 3 years in high school were the basis for that confidence that I needed, and also having a space where, as an Oakland youth, I could talk with other peers about the status of our environment and our community and what it is that we could do to really give back, and where we can situate ourselves in places of power to be able to kind of be a bridge between our community and other lesser diverse areas. In college, I was able to get internships. I was actually interning with Maria Sager. I also interned at Centro Legal in the immigration team, and those were experiences that were truly unique and definitely necessary for my decision to actually pursue a law degree. And I also participated in the DLP program. It's actually how I was able to afford LSAT preparation, and how I was able to learn really the entire process of applying to law school. And now I'm successfully on the other side of everything, receiving acceptances. I'm excited to have been accepted to Berkeley Law, to UC Hastings, to Loyola Marymount, and also to Santa Clara University, hoping to hear back from many more schools, but I definitely attribute all of my successes to the type of support that YLA has been able to provide for me. With that, I do want to hear from Maria and what she feels like has been her experience as a mentor attorney.
Cecilia, congratulations on all those acceptances. So proud of you. That's just absolutely amazing. Exactly what the YLA is all about. So since 2000, with my law firm support, Boxer & Gerson, I have served as a mentor to 9 YLA summer interns. And they have generally worked for our law firm 2 days per week. One day they're doing clerical work around the office, and the other day they shadow me. They watch what I do as a workers' compensation lawyer, everything from meeting with clients, negotiating settlements, attending depositions, and hearings. In addition, during the summer internship, I also make it a point to share with each student my humble beginnings of immigrating to the United States from El Salvador at age 4, and also being raised primarily by a mother who did not know how to write, read, or speak English in poverty. I share these vulnerabilities of myself with them so that the students can see that if I can beat the odds, they can beat the odds as well. I know very well that I would not have become a lawyer without my mentor, lawyer Patricia Cruz, whom I met thanks to a professor when I was in college and around 20 years old. As a result of my mentor and knowing how crucial she was to me becoming a lawyer, it was an easy decision for me to want to give back. And the YLA makes it very easy for you to give back to these students. I tear up with each one of my mentees as a result of one of their sweet questions or a comment that they make, or after watching them talk to a judge in open court, knowing that it is the first time they have ever interacted with a judge. I want to say that serving as a YLA mentor has been one of the most professional experiences in my professional life, one of the best experiences that I've had, in my professional life. Raimundo, I'm going to turn it over to you. What are your dreams for the YLA?
Thank you, Maria, for all of your support. We really appreciate you and Boxer & Gerson for providing that space for our students to participate in the internship program and for everything that you do for the Youth Law Academy. The dream for the YLA is that we're able to even provide more support for our students so they can be successful from high school to college and then from college to law school, right? And in order to do that, we really need the support of the entire legal profession. Really, the goal is to have even more law firms and nonprofits step up to host summer interns, for more attorneys to participate in the mentorship program, and for more folks, attorneys and firms in the profession to really step up and stand by the educational pipelining work so that we can work together in order to transform this profession in a meaningful way and make it more diverse and more inclusive so that more folks can have a seat at the table in this profession. So that's the dream for the Youth Law Academy. I really want to thank everybody for taking the time to hear about our work, and hope that you can consider supporting us either by providing an internship site placement or by going ahead and contributing financially, because that is really how this program is going to be sustainable and be able to impact even more youth. So thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Hello, welcome everyone to a discussion with some of our litigation team. Jesse, can you kick us off by sharing a little bit about Centro's affirmative litigation practice?
Of course, thanks so much, Anna. So Centro Legal first started an affirmative litigation project in 2014 with generous seed funding from the Skadden Fellowship Foundation. As the litigation director, I work with staff across our legal practice areas to represent Central clients and communities in individual lawsuits and impact litigation against employers, landlords, and even the federal government to protect our clients' rights and improve conditions more broadly. So right now, we're representing thousands of clients and class members in state and federal court, fighting against abusive immigration detention and bond practices, wage theft and sexual assault in the workplace, and tenant harassment and substandard housing. In the past 6 years, Centro Legal has successfully resolved over 50 lawsuits for our low-income and immigrant clients. We've helped our clients and class members collect almost $10 million through these judgments and settlements, and helped bring about critical policy changes as well. We often co-counsel these cases with other highly respected nonprofit organizations, local government, and law firm partners. And we've litigated our cases up to the California and US Supreme Courts. So Anna, we recently helped our clients win a major case for restaurant workers. Would you mind telling us a little about the case and what it was like to work with the clients?
Yes, I would love to talk about this case. Centro Legal is just now wrapping up a class action on behalf of 350 current and former kitchen workers at a popular restaurant chain here in the Bay Area. The workers had reported that the chain failed to pay minimum and overtime wages, failed to provide adequate breaks and sick leave, and unlawfully retaliated against the workers for speaking up about their workplace rights. After years of litigation, we've successfully resolved the case with a $1.3 million settlement approved by the court. And in addition to paying the settlement and addressing the alleged violations, the restaurant chain agreed to restore tips and holiday and time off benefits, translate employee handbooks and workplace rules, provide workers' rights training to staff during paid time, establish designated rest areas in each restaurant, among other critical policy changes. So it was such an honor to work with the clients in this case, who were incredibly brave in standing up not only for their own rights, but also for all of their coworkers. Through their efforts in the case and media, they helped address the issues here and put other employers on notice that they need to comply with state and local workplace protections.
Thanks so much, Anna. So speaking of our amazing clients, I'm always particularly struck by our tenant clients who stand up for themselves in their communities in the face of an ongoing housing crisis that's only gotten worse in the time of COVID. And we've been fortunate, though, to partner with organizations like the Oakland City Attorney's Office to help protect tenants' rights, as you can see in this video.
There is a severe shortage of safe, affordable housing in our city. And that shortage has led to an exponential rise in the rental rates in Oakland. And the city has taken steps to try to address the situation, enacting laws. There's the Just Cause for Eviction Ordinance, Rent Control Ordinance, and the Tenant Protection Ordinance, which makes explicit that many common forms of landlord harassment are illegal and actionable. What's so incredibly challenging about the affordability crisis is that tenants have so few options. They feel, as you say, trapped. You're living in a situation where you have substandard conditions in your home, your landlord is subjecting you to harassment, but you don't have the ability to pack up and move to another unit. You can't give up your rent-controlled unit.
And landlords know that. Unscrupulous landlords know that, and they take advantage of it and they exploit it. And they know that if they're accepting rent from a monolingual Spanish speaker or a disabled elderly person, it's unlikely that that person is going to be able to enforce their rights. They're probably incredibly scared at the prospect of suing their landlord. And so we are lucky at Centro to benefit from 50 years of experience being rooted in this community, being trusted by this community. We offer weekly walk-in clinics, and we offer comprehensive wraparound legal services. But that's our job, is to just inform tenants of their rights, make it clear that there are laws in Oakland that protect them, and that we can help as much as we can to make those rights meaningful. We represented a tenant named Salvador Sotelo, a longtime Oakland resident who was experiencing years of harassment and substandard housing conditions. We worked with the tenant, Mr. Sotelo, for years at Centro, trying less intensive methods, asserting Salvador's rights in all the ways that we could, short of an affirmative lawsuit. The landlord would come to the home unannounced, barge in, and berate and threaten and just verbally harass the tenants in an effort to get them to leave. They were long-time rent-controlled tenants, and if the landlord could make life as miserable as possible, then it increased the likelihood that the tenants would leave. That it was only when we escalated the situation, only when we brought a lawsuit partnering with the city of Oakland, that the harassment stopped.
And the settlement provided substantial compensation for Mr. Sotelo and for the city. But probably the most important was we're able to secure really important injunctive relief and policy changes. So in that case, the landlord had to agree to hire a property manager so they won't be directly interacting with or harassing the tenants. They also agreed to provide notice to the city before moving forward with any eviction action, and that ensures that these tenants won't get displaced. So that was a really incredible victory. So Priya, as you know, so many of our clients are also facing the hardships imposed by our unjust immigration system. So would you mind telling us a little about how affirmative litigation has impacted our immigration work?
Sure, Jesse, thank you. Well, unfortunately, our current immigration system places thousands of people in immigration detention, unnecessarily separating them from their families and their homes and their communities. And in fighting back against this unjust detention, often our clients' only option is to file a federal lawsuit. So we help our clients file these actions, and sometimes we're able to win their freedom. Sometimes we also file class action lawsuits as well to help protect the rights of whole groups of people that are unjustly detained. And an example of that is a case called Alma Gonzalez. We're really proud of the work we've done on this case along with other co-counsel, and it's currently pending before the US Supreme Court. Now, before this class action was filed, the government, as a matter of practice, would forcibly detain thousands of immigrants who were seeking asylum-related relief because they would face torture or persecution or death in their countries of birth. And that meant that these people could face years of detention, again, separated from families and communities and homes, even if they posed no safety or flight risk. And so many people would just give up their claims because of the trauma of being in detention. Now, thankfully, the federal district court in Alma Gonzalez granted our motion for an injunction and ordered the government to provide bond hearings, which gave hundreds of people in our class members at least the chance to be released. And we then won the government's appeal of that decision in front of the Ninth Circuit. And now we're currently waiting for the US Supreme Court to rule on the case. And in the meantime, we're continuing to monitor and enforce the lower court's order, making sure that all class members receive their bond hearings and have a shot at liberation while fighting their case.
Thanks so much, Priya. So in summary, I guess I'd just say that litigation can be one critical tool to help protect our communities and change policies. And while cases can take years to resolve, our teams actively engage with our clients and their communities throughout the process. We're here to listen, to advocate for our clients, both inside and outside the courtroom, with holistic and direct services. So the cases we have won in partnership with our clients have not only supported and protected their rights, but have helped change and improved conditions for immigrants, workers, and tenants more broadly. That's why we're so proud and honored to do this work. So thank you everyone for listening, and stay tuned to learn more about how you can support our work.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Centro Legal de Razas La Gala, Take a Chance on Justice. We are honored that you are joining us tonight. We want to first off thank every single supporter, donor, volunteer, staff member, board member. If you've ever liked one of our tweets, if you've ever shared one of our stories on Facebook, if you've ever pointed someone to Central Services, we want to thank you. If it wasn't for you all, if it wasn't for our community, we would not be here today with you all. So thank you so much. And continuing that train of gratitude, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to Teresa, who will be thanking our sponsors for tonight's evening.
Thank you so much, Elba. We really appreciate your leadership and making tonight such a fabulous event. We would like to now thank our sponsors, those who made it possible for us to be here together this evening. And there are so many more to thank, but we would like to start off with our board member sponsors. Previous board member, Martin Sul, thank you so much. We would also like to thank Daniel Purcell, the Garcia Gonzalez Family Fund, Stephanie Tang, Charles Chip Conradi, Dorothy Fernandez, Rosana Nagle, Christina Kothari, Maria Blanco, Walter Rodriguez, Claudia Perkins, and also Erica Villanueva. Thank you so much to our beautiful board for all of your support. Next, we'd like to thank our law firm sponsors. And in no particular order, and everybody is super important, and we celebrate with you all this evening. Thank you to Cooley, to Morrison and Forrester LLP and the Morrison and Forrester Foundation, also Kirkland and Ellis, the law offices of John E. Hill, Kecker Van Peters, Boxer and Gerson, the law offices of Andrew Wolf, Chartis Fries LLP, DLA Piper, the ACLU of Northern California, State Beneficial Bank, Signature Bank, and Shu Mahali and Weinberger. We are so extremely grateful. We cannot thank you enough for making this evening possible and for being our partners throughout this year and longstanding. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Teresa, and thank you once again to all of our sponsors. If you're wondering how you can support Centro Legal, we have the answers. If you look down at the bottom of our screen, you have 3 ways to give. One is a text to give. If you can just text 41444, that's 41444, text La Gala 2021 if you'd like to make a pledge over your phone. You're also welcome to go to centrolegal.org/donate to make a donation on our website. Or if you'd like to go old school, we welcome checks. We love checks. So please feel free to send those checks to 3400 East 12th Street, Oakland, California, 94601. Again, that is 3400 East 12th Street, Oakland, California, 94601. And if you're looking for that text to give number, once again, it's 41444. You can just text La Gala 2021 to make your pledge. As a matter of fact, speaking of pledges and giving, I'm seeing a gift come in from Lita from Lomita, California for $100. Thank you so much, Lita. We see you and we thank you for your gift. Thank you so much. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Maciel, who is going to tell you a little bit about what your support does at Centro Legal.
Sure, thanks, Elba. One of the stories that we want to highlight actually comes from our own Fruitvale neighborhood. Aileen Castillo, who is our amazing directing attorney on the immigrants' rights team, was able to help someone who came to us as a young mother who had never been screened for any immigration benefits, and we were able to find that she was eligible for asylum and DACA. So after she got DACA, she was able to get her driver's license. She went and got her GED. And then after that, she was able to provide for her children after she was able to work in the United States with permission. And then recently, she just opened up a business or started a housekeeping business. And all of that was possible because of Aideen's help and, you know, all of the great work that we do at Centro Legal with our amazing team.
Thank you so much for sharing, Maciel. And I think we have another gift coming in. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. Actually, we just got a gift from Nancy from the city of Davis. Woo! Thank you so much, Nancy, for supporting us. Davis is not too far from where we are. And remember that we are all one community. So thank you, Nancy from Davis.
Thank you, Nancy. So grateful for your support tonight. Right now, we're actually going to talk to you about our raffle. We have very exciting raffle filled with several packages. So how do you get raffle tickets? centrolegal.org/La Gala. You can find our link to purchase raffle tickets. You can buy one for $25, or if you like a deal, I love a deal. I don't know about y'all.
I love a deal, Elba.
I know, we love deals. You can buy 5 for only $100. So if you're looking for a little bit of a discount, feel free to purchase those 5 tickets at $100. Again, that link is centrolegal.org/La Gala for your raffle tickets. So we're going to start off. Our first package is a date night in package. So I know Valentine's Day just
for a date, Elba. Can it?
No, it doesn't have to be for a date. It doesn't have to be for a date. It could be just, but for yourself. If you want to have friends over, I guess you can't really in a pandemic, but maybe after the pandemic, whatever you'd like. Just because Valentine's Day is over doesn't mean the romance has to end. I don't like to think so anyway. So this date night package is awesome. It comes with a $50 gift card to Trick Dog in San Francisco, named one of the world's best bars in the last several years. We also have from Trick Dog, we also have craft cocktails for 2. A mezcal cocktail for my mezcal heads out there. I know I love some mezcal. And then finally, it also comes with a delicious box of chocolates from Casa de Chocolates.
So I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity to offer my services as a free chocolate taster from Casa de Chocolates. Their chocolate is amazing, lives up to the hype. It is the best chocolate I've ever had. So.
And look, and now we also have a free chocolate tester. So look at that.
Also for the drinks as well, the cocktails, I'm willing to do that as well.
Look at that, so generous. Thank you, Maciel, for your giving spirit. And we also hope that you too have a giving spirit by purchasing these raffle tickets today to support our mission. Maciel, you want to tell the good people about our second raffle item?
I do, Elba. Can you tell me if you've been able to make it to your favorite winery these days?
I haven't, not a single one.
Well, fret no more. This collection of 8 premium wines will be amazing. It will be an amazing addition to a dinner party, cozy night with friends, night in with your dog, socially distance something in your backyard. This includes a Macrosti Wildcat Mountain Pinot Noir 2018, woo, as Elba is demonstrating right there, and also 2006 Hunt Cellars Petite Syrah Irresistible. So that means that you cannot resist buying a raffle ticket, right?
You can't do it. It's just too much good wine. That's 8 premium bottles. You don't want to miss out on that. Possibly only for $25.
Yep.
That's
it's also good for regifting if you're not a drinker like me.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. And actually, Teresa, do you want to talk about the third package that we have for the day?
Yes, I would love to. It is my pleasure to offer up the next raffle item. This is a heartfelt and very sincere and dear gift from myself. I will be cooking a traditional, authentic New Mexican style meal. It will be enchiladas, and I can do this either beef, chicken, or vegan style. This is in honor of my roots, and we will ensure that it has red and green chile. And for those of you who know what that means that it's Christmas in the middle of springtime. And so we're really excited to prepare this meal for you and for 4 people in total, and we will deliver it directly to your home. We also include wine in this package, and the date will be mutually agreed upon, but one limitation is that it is for the Bay Area only, because I have to deliver this in person. And so hopefully you have somebody in the Bay Area that you love and that you would like to offer this lovely gift to, or I have an opportunity to meet you directly and thank you in person.
And this
And
chicken is spicy. I know she said New Mexico, but it is very spicy from a self-proclaimed spice expert. So
yeah, so actually we start from the top to the bottom. So we start with extra, extra, extra hot, and then we can go down to hot, but we can't do medium or mild. You have to eat it hot in order to enjoy it.
For all our heat seekers out there, this is definitely going to be a package for you. You're going to love it. And I believe that dinner includes some wine as well, Teresa?
Yes, it does.
Ah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for our efforts. I've eaten Teresa's cooking myself, and she's incredible. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So buy those raffle tickets up. One thing that we definitely want to mention is that raffle tickets are going to be available for purchase for another week. So we have until March 18th. We'll be announcing winners for the raffles on March 18th. So you have a whole extra week to keep buying those raffle tickets. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your people that you're in the pod with. Yeah, tell the barrio, tell everybody that we have amazing packages, and they're all going to benefit Centro Legal and the amazing work that we do here. I'm going to talk about the next package, one of my favorites. It's the I Hella Heart Oakland package. So show off your 510 pride with this awesome basket. We have a $100 Federation Brewing gift card. Some of the best beer in Oakland, in my humble opinion. They have amazing stouts, and Federation has been a great supporter of Centro Legal. So shout out to Adam. Thank you so much for all your support. We also have two cases of Drake's beer for y'all. So that's a lot of beer. So for my beer fans, for my IPA heads, this is gonna be one for you. We also have Red Bay Coffee, some of the best coffee in Oakland. Their honey lavender latte. Have you had that, y'all? It is so.
But if I win this, then I will.
It is so good. So definitely check that out. We have a 50. This is a hefty package, y'all. We also have a $50 Guadalajara gift card.
As a restaurant on Fruitvale, so you can't get any more authentic than that restaurant. Also, shout out to their micheladas and their karaoke nights. Can't wait till they start again.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, definitely save me a spot for that. And then finally, this package closes off with a $25 gift card to the Oaktown Spice Shop. So if you love to cook at home, if you're looking for some extra sazon, some flavor to your home cooking during this pandemic, you definitely want to hit that up as well. And Maciel, why don't you talk to us about the stay-at-home package, which is next?
Sure. So, pandemic got you down, anyone?
Yeah.
Look no further, because this stay-at-home package has everything you need for a fun, safe, socially distanced night, maybe in your backyard. It includes an Amazon Echo Dot Assistant, because we all need one. $50 Amazon gift card. We always need that. Viva la Vida jigsaw puzzle, which is 1,000 pieces, so it'll for sure keep you busy until the end of this pandemic. The Earth jigsaw puzzle, another 1,000 pieces, so you'll be busy for 2 pandemics. Wooden ergonomic desktop stand for a laptop or digital device. Assorted beverages like Numi Moroccan Hint herbal tea. 3 pairs Pinot Grigio. Pete's Coffee Organic Yosemite Dos Sierras. And Guitar Grand Cacao Sweet Ground Chocolate for drinking or baking or anything else fun that you want to do with it.
Oh, that sounds so comforting. And all of that could be yours with a winning raffle ticket. Yay! And then finally, we have our last package. Certainly last, but certainly not least. We have for you, Once I Was You, a memoir of love and hate in a torn America by the one and only Maria Hinojosa, who will be joining us later tonight. So 2 signed copies of her incredible memoir can be yours with the winning raffle ticket. This was an incredible book. Once you start reading it, you're just not going to put it down. It's definitely a must to understand so much of what's going on in the country right now, and from such a unique, powerful perspective. So you definitely don't want to miss out on this. So those are all our amazing raffle packages. Like we said, tickets will be available for purchase until March 18th. So please make sure to visit centrolegal.org/lagala to make those raffle purchases. And if you're are into the raffle packages, but you're like, hey, I just kind of want to give to Centro Legal, you can do that too. Please feel free to text to give Again, that text number is 41444. La Gala, and you just text La Gala 2021 to make your pledge on the phone. Feel free to visit our website. That is centrolegal.org/donate, or send an old school check to our offices in Oakland. Thank you again so much to everyone for joining us tonight. We have so much more for you, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to Teresa to talk a little bit more about our next segment here.
Thank you so much.
So awesome. Before we move on to the next part of our evening, which we are all going to enjoy very much, I would like to extend a thanks, and hopefully everyone can thank along with me, Alba Morales, our Director of Development and Communications, as well as Maciel Jaques, our Managing Director of our Immigrant Rights Legal Practice. You all are amazing, and thank you so much for kicking us off this evening. We are truly, truly grateful. And now I have the double pleasure and honor of introducing everyone to the next part of our evening. For those of you who know, the acclaimed journalist, author, and founder of Futuro Media Group will join Centro Legal this evening as our keynote speaker. We are truly inspired and honored to have Maria Hinojosa join us this evening and grace her with her fierce, powerful, transformative, yet eternally elegant and graceful leadership. She is truly someone that I look up to, and I'm so grateful that she is such a powerful voice in our community globally today. And so now let's all get prepared for the wonderful presence of Maria. Thank you.
Hey, how are you? I bet you're excited. You should be. Welcome to the Centro Legal de las Razas Gala, virtually. I wish I was with you, all dressed up, giving lots of abrazos. That would be amazing. But instead, here I am, in my home, con pantuflas and not my fabulous heels. But I just want to welcome everybody and share a few thoughts about the work that Centro Legal de la Raza does and my thoughts about it. So, I think as a little girl, growing up as a Mexican immigrant on the south side of Chicago, I didn't really understand that there was a legal framework to what was happening in terms of the civil rights battles. I understood a sense of injustice, but the fact that there was a kind of legal challenge here was something that only came to really be clear for me as I got older, obviously, because as a child, laws can be hard concepts. But that's why I love the work that Centro Legal has been doing for so long. It's a community-based, movement-centered lawyering. Wow, what a concept. Promoting leadership, equity, advancing the rights of marginalized communities for over 50 years. So I love the fact that you continue to be based in Oakland's historic Latina neighborhood of Fruitville, and that your services are free to the Bay Area and beyond. And there's something, when you've been around now for 50 years, right? There's something about that longevity because it creates a tremendous amount of trust. So Centro is a place where, areas like immigrants, tenants, low-income communities that need the advocacy can get it. I love the fact that Centro does direct services, but also does policy advocacy in order to really think about not just the immediate impact, which is so important for a person's life, but the lasting, holistic, structural change impact that we need in the world of legal help and justice, especially from a community-based and activist-based perspective. Now, you know that immigration for me is an issue that is really, it actually, I think the last 4 years were so challenging, but in many ways they revealed things to us that we needed to see. And I think that there is so much shame that comes with our immigrant story. So it wasn't even until the last 4 years and the horror that we had to live through that I was able to understand why I do the work that I do as a journalist on the issue of immigration. And that's because it turns out, and you'll read it in Once I Was You in my book, a very ugly surprise, which is that I was almost taken from my own mother when we arrived with privilege by plane with a green card, and I was almost taken. So immigration really has become an issue that is urgent, that is a question of a question of life or death for many of us, for people who are fleeing violence and persecution, for people who are believing the narrative that this country is a country that loves and wants refugees. With only 3 states nationwide that have supportive immigrant policies, we need places like Centro to continue to push on the legal front and on the policy front. Indigenous and immigrant families have always been thrown under the bus. Those are inhumane policies that really change and can destroy families and people's lives. And Centro has been at the forefront of protecting these immigrant families from this really relentless kind of harm. You know this because it is the right thing, and Centro knows this, and that is why we believe and support the work of El Centro, because the deportations have to stop. This is not a time to say to us and request more patience. This is not a time to say, wait for better justice for immigrants, for refugees. No, they have to stop. You know that 26,000 immigrants have been deported during Biden's administration in only 2 months. That's more than 900 deportations a day. And that's only going to stop because of people like you and Centro fighting to change that. So we need Centro fighting for clients in detained and not detained removal defense, in asylum applications, family-based visa petitions, U visas for victims of violent crimes, deferred action for childhood arrivals, DACA, the entire confusion around DACA, unaccompanied children, special immigrant juvenile status visas, and so much more. And of course, we need support, and the support that Centro gives in terms of tenants' rights, right? People need safe and affordable housing, especially after everything that we've lived through with the real life impact of environmental change. So we need housing, especially after this pandemic, when so many have lost so much. Centro's leadership in legal protections, advocacy, homelessness prevention, and anti-displacement in the Bay Area has been really critical. And it's been critical in the tenant rights practice that strives to stop displacement and stabilize communities through eviction defense, drop-in legal clinics, affirmative litigation, policy advocacy, and administrative hearings before rent boards. All things that can be really, really scary, but that are legal, and that we depend on those legal rights being defended. If we know we have them, that's where El Centro comes in, to tell us we have them and then to help defend us. So congratulations on your wins in 2020. Your clients faced a lot of obstacles rooted in structural racism, things that have been exacerbated by the pandemic. I'm happy to hear how much that you're addressing the disparities, responding to these 3 urgent legal practice areas, right, which are housing, employment, and immigrants' legal rights. So, there has been worry about paying the rent, and Centro defends tenants facing those unlawful evictions and the rent increases. And Centro successfully advocated for eviction moratoriums to ensure that tenants were able to maintain some stability during the pandemic. In 2020, you distributed over 2.5 million in emergency rental cash assistance to tenants facing eviction. You were co-authors of the strongest eviction moratoria in the state of California and nationwide. Thank you, Centro, for that important work. The low-wage and immigrant workers that you serve are often facing challenges of wage theft, discrimination, unsafe working conditions, and having to continue to work even through the pandemic. So thank you, Centro, for launching a rapid response hotline and platform in response to a surge in the workers seeking information about workplace rights. I know that in 2020, you distributed over $3 million to over 2,000 undocumented workers excluded from unemployment benefits through your Oakland Worker Relief Fund, which is your fund, our fund. So thank you, Centro, for representing immigrants who face criminalization and family separation due to unjust immigration laws, immigrants in detention across the country. I know that your clients have been even more vulnerable because of COVID-19 and outbreaks at detention camps. And for those who were disproportionately affected in the Alameda County, just because of where you lived and because of your zip code, a higher impact from COVID. So in response to the work of Centro, in April 2020, a federal judge ordered ICE to review for release every person with COVID-19 risk factors, and you advocated for the release of over 30 detainees, and they and their families and myself want to say thank you. So I hope you have an extraordinary gala. Know that from afar, I appreciate your work. It means a lot to me, and we need more. We need more of your work. We need more people supporting your work. We need more lawyers. We need more paralegals. We need more young immigrants, Latinos and Latinas, and people of color and allies de conciencia to take on our legal battles for us, because that makes us all better as a country. Felicidades. Have a great gala. Desde por acá en el este, muchos abrazos. Les manda María Hinojosa. Bye.
Thank you, Maria, for sharing those words of wisdom based on your life experience and your own unique journey. And thank you for amplifying the voices of Latinos and other communities of color here in this country. Hola, I'm Sergio Garcia, Chair of the Board of Centro Legal. On behalf of the Centro Board, let me thank you for joining us tonight. Gracias. Gracias for taking the time to celebrate with us, to celebrate our collective strength and our fierce determination. And more specifically, the fierce determination of this organization, Centro Legal, in advancing the rights of the communities we serve in Oakland, in the Bay Area, and beyond. We trust that you've been moved tonight, moved by the extraordinary legal services and advocacy you heard about throughout the evening, and moved by the unwavering dedication, the passion, and the deep commitment of Centro staff, a commitment to serve low-income and immigrant families that are struggling during this pandemic, struggling to survive in the face of a severe economic crisis and continued uncertainty. We hope that you stay tuned and that you give to this organization over the months and the years ahead as Centro meets the ever-increasing demand for legal services and advocacy. So what keeps us going during this pandemic and in facing the challenges ahead? Well, cultura and música certainly help. They help a lot. So let's shift to music right now. And we have a special treat for you. So stick around to enjoy the energetic beat of DJ Malavida, a Bay Area-based queer musician who will be playing fabulous cumbias for us. So put on your dancing shoes and continue to celebrate with us. Buenas noches.
Hola, hola, hola. Thank y'all for joining us.
as we celebrate Centro Legal de las Razas Gala. Thank y'all for your generous donations, as it is deeply appreciated. Ahora un poquito de cumbia para ponernos a bailar, a gozar. Y dice algo así.
Y de nuevo, la dinastía Pedraza. Y este es el sabor. Ahí.
Hoy me di cuenta que te amé, que sin sentido te perdí. Como un idiota me porté y ahora me toca a mí sufrir. Hoy me di cuenta de mi error y le hago caso al corazón. Entiende, ya no puedo más.
Se vale bailar. ¡Wipipi!
Estallar, amor, amor, regresa ya. Mi corazón te va a extrañar. Amor, amor, regresa ya. Mi corazón te va a extrañar.
Abuelita, soy su nieto. Y ya llegué con discos Barba Azul. Vaya Vicente Pedraza.
Y la traviesa. Todas las mañanas con el pájaro sin sonte, con todas las cosas de mi tierra sabanera. Todas las mañanas con el pájaro sin sonte, con todas las cosas de mi tierra sabanera. Cantan el monte en la pava con dona, se oye su lamento y se pasa en la ladera. Cantan el monte en la pava con dona, se oye su lamento y se pasa en la ladera. Tambor, tambor. Alejandro Avilés. ¡Hey! Goza, goza. ¡Ujua! Todas las mañanas con el pájaro sin sonte, con todas las cosas de mi tierra sabanera. Todas las mañanas con el pájaro sin sonte, con todas las cosas de mi tierra sabanera. Cantan el monte en la pava con dona, se oye su lamento y se pasa en la ladera. Cantan el monte en la pava con dona, se oye su lamento y se pasa en la ladera.
A todos los sonideros en México, un saludo muy especial de su amigo Poncho Zamudio. ¡Ay, ay, ay! ¡Qué cadencia de cumbia! Bien, te pido.
Especial dedicación para todos los taxistas y sonideros de la gran ciudad. Bailadores y bailadoras, o danzantes y rumberas, suena la cumbia. Especial dedicación desde Brooklyn para todos los barrios sonideros. Para todos los taxistas que
Y de nuevo, muchas gracias a todos los donadores. Thank you everybody who's donated to this wonderful organization, Centro Legal de la Raza. ¡Wipipi!
Especial dedicación. Órale, ahí viene la cumbia, ahí viene el taxi, rolando por la ciudad, trayendo el sabor. En cualquier esquina tiene sabor. Cualquier esquina se puede escuchar sabor. Tambor del corazón, guacharaca. Sigue la cumbia, el sabor. Cumbia arrebatada.
Del pum pum acaba de llegar y nadie lo puede parar. Soy llora porque llegó el general. Tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van mata tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van mata tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van mata tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van matar, pues tu pum pum no me puede matar. Ay, mamacita, porque soy un general, digo que jala pa' adelante, digo jala pa' atrás. Tu pum pum, digo se van a estirar, digo todos los hombres lo van a corretear, boom. Como una bruja lo tendrás que castigar, tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van a matar. Mami, mami, no me van a matar tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van a matar tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van a matar, pues conozco chicas que les gustan firmada, viene para el baile, ella no quiere bailar, con mis amigos si no lleva un collar, él no maneja ningún Honda acá, y la cerveza no le puede comprar, digo todo lo que quiere es un pasito para gozar, porque del baile no la puede sacar, y a su casa no la pueden llevar, so en una esquina se empiezan a meñar, y de repente tú lo oyes gritar, mami, mami, no me van a matar tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van a matar tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van a matar tu pum pum, mami, mami, no me van a matar, digo que alza la mano si te gusta el chocolate, digo alza la mano si te gusta el chocolate, digo bate que bate, el chocolate, digo bate que bate, tú no vayas a fallar, si no tú eres me siento al día en la mía, mami, dando bien perfumado y la paca por si no fían sin misterio, llénense de placer que se acaba el mundo y no vine pa' perder, apaguen los celulares, repórtense a sus hogares y sí que vamos a hacer maldades, muevan su pum pum, cuando yo les tire mi zum zum, en la cintura traigo mi tum tum, mami yo quiero agarrarte por el pelo.
Again, give it up for yourselves. Thank y'all for tuning in. It has been my pleasure. Make sure to take priority in your joys. Centro Legal de la Raza. Wipipi.
Esto es para ustedes, para que se lo gocen.
Thank y'all for your wonderful donations, contributions.
Pero que también pichea.
Música del barrio pa'l barrio.
Oye mi canción y como frontea. No importa donde me vea, la tuya es la
Y'all stay blessed.
pa' mi cuerpo y no me huelen ni las azucenas. El negro Yigiri, el enemigo de los guasibiri. El que nunca tira.
Cuídense.